Hi, everyone. I'm very honored to be part of this conference. My name is Keren Kenzi. I'm a front-end engineer at AppsFlyer. My hobbies include singing, photography, painting, and more. And in my not-so-free time, I study psychology. On today's session, I'm going to show you how we can use our basic JavaScript, CSS, HTML knowledge in order to build our own Chrome extensions. You're probably all familiar with Chrome extensions like ad blockers, dark mode, Zoom scheduler, and if you're a React developer, you might be familiar with Redux DevTool extensions. But let me tell you a bit more about Chrome extensions. So Chrome extensions are programs that are used to modify and enhance our browsing experience. They can contain several components. The background script, which interact with the Chrome API and listens to events such as opening a new tab and react accordingly. Content script, which runs in the context of the web page. They can read information from the web page the browser visits. They can modify it, for example, change the font size, change the background color, and more. Another component is the UI elements, like pop-ups and more. Those are the user interface of the Chrome extensions. And there can also be options page components. For example, it allows the user to customize the behavior of the extension by providing him options. In the last year and a half, the boundaries between work and life have become really blurry. And I wanted to use today's session to help bring some balance into our life and show you how you can create your own Chrome extension to set yourself a reminder to stretch, relax, take a break, take a coffee break, stop working after a certain amount of hours, and more. What we're going to build today is an extension that will show us a similar pop-up in order to set ourselves a reminder and notification to take a break. So let's get started. In order to do that, we need to go to the Chrome Manage Extension page. We can either do it from here, or we can click, go to this URL and open this Manage Extensions page. We must make sure that the developer mode over here is turned on. Next thing, we need to create the folder which will hold the extensions file. I've already created one and called it Work-Life Balance and pre-downloaded some images I want to use for our extension. Next, we need to open this folder in our favorite editor, whether it's Vim, VS Code, or WebStorm. Let's go over to the editor. So the first mandatory file we need to add for an extension is the manifest.json file. Basically, it is the file that holds all the important information regarding our extension. Let's go and create it. There are several mandatory fields we need to supply. Which are name, the name of our extension. Let's call it Work-Life Balance. The version, which could be any number that you like. You can start even with 12, as long as whenever you push an update to the web store, you need to increase this number. So let's start, for example, with 0.1. And the last mandatory field is manifest version. Currently, the supported version is 2, but soon they're going to launch another version number 3, which will enhance security, privacy, and performance. Let's add also a description. The description is not mandatory, but it's a good thing to have a description. So this extension helps bring some balance to our lives. And let's go over back to the Manage Extension page and add our extension. In order to do that, let me just zoom a little out. We need to click on Load and Unpack and select the folder. This is WinTech, Work-Life Balance, and select. We can see that the extension was added over here. We can see the version number, the description, and if we click on the details, we can see additional information such as permission and more. So in order to add an icon to the toolbar, right to the address, we need to add a field to the manifest called browser action. This is an object which can have several things, such as default pop-up. Let's call the file pop-up HTML. We haven't created it. This will be our next step. Default title, which will be the tooltip that will be presented on top of the icon. Let me just add. Let's copy paste from here. You can see I have a typo. Default title, and we can also add the default icon. In this case, let's use code.peng file. Okay, and let's create the pop-up HTML file. New HTML file, name pop-up. And let me just increase the size of the font. Let's add an header called, Work-Life Balance. Let's add the nice image. And let's give it width of 200 pixels and height the same. In addition, we need to set two buttons, one to set a reminder to take a break and stretch, and the other for canceling the reminder. So the idea of the first one will be stretch. The idea of the second one will be cancel. And the value of the first button should be the amount of minutes we want to wait between one stretch and another. For example, it is recommended to take a break and stretch every 30 minutes. So let's give the value 30 and set the label to stretch reminder. Let's set the label of the cancel button to cancel reminder. And let's add the script that will listen to the on-click event. Let's call it popup.js. And let's create it. File popup.js. Before we start writing the on-click event listener, let's just go over to our Manage Extension page, refresh, and let's see if we can see our extension. We can see here that a new extension was added. We can pin it to the toolbar. We can see that the icon was added and that it is colorized, indicating that the extension is activated. Once we click on it, a pop-up is opened. Currently, the CSS is not so pretty, so I've already wrote some CSS in advance. Let's just copy paste it to our HTML file. So the styling will be better. Over here, you can see it's just to add colors and width to the buttons and to set a different color when we hover on the buttons, etc. Just a basic CSS. Let's go back Let's refresh our extension. Now remember that every time you update the code, you need to go over here, refresh it for the update to take place. And you can see here that it is a much nicer look to the pop-up. So if you click on it currently, it doesn't do anything because I haven't written the code yet. So let's get back to the popup.js and add the event listener. So here we want to access the document API, get element by ID. First for the stretch, and add an event listener for the click. And call it set reminder. Let's do the same for the cancel. Let me just copy paste it. The ID is cancel this time, and let's call it cancel reminder. Let's go over and implement those methods. Function, set reminder. And let's do the same for cancel reminder. So what we want to do in the set reminder is first we want to set a badge to indicate the status of our extension. We can do that by accessing the Chrome browser action. It should be a small Chrome browser actions. Set badge text. The badge text can contain up to 4 letters, but it gives us some indication of the status, so it's a good thing. So when we set a reminder, we want to set the text of the badge to on. In addition, we want to set an alarm and use the Chrome Alarm API in order for us to set the timer for the notification to appear that will remind us to take the break. So alarm, create. The alarm will create accept an object which has the key delayed in minutes. Usually I will take the value from event target dot value, which we set with 30 over here. But since we're doing a live coding, I will just set it to 1 minute, so we will be able to see it in this session. And let's call window.close in order to close the pop-up. In the cancel reminder, what we want to do is to indicate that this reminder is off. So we'll just copy paste the set badge text, but instead of on, we will display off. In addition, we want to remove all the alarms. So I will call alarm, clear all, and close the window. Close the pop-up. Okay, so that's about it. So we have this alarm, but we need to add some code that listens to this alarm and display the notification. This will be done in the background script. So we need to go over here and add the background script. It will listen to the event of the alarm and call the Chrome API for setting the notification. So let's have it here, and we should use Chrome alarm. This time we will use the on alarm and add a listener, which will do the following. First of all, we want to reset the badge to an empty badge. So we will call Chrome browser action set badge text to empty text. In addition, what we want to do is to call Chrome notification API and display notification. Create receives an object with the following. We need to supply a type for the notification. In our case, it is basic. We also want the user, in this case, we are the users, but we want to set require interaction through, so we won't miss the notification. Otherwise, it will just appear and disappear, and we might miss it and miss our chance to take a break. Just kidding. You can take a break whenever you want to. So let's set it to true. And we can also add a nice icon to it. Let's use stretch JPEG as well, and the same as in the pop-up. And we can add also a title, which will set like a stretch reminder. And let's set a message as well. It is time to take a break and relax. Now let's see if it works. Let's go back to our Manage Extension page, refresh our extension, click over here and click on, oh, but I forgot one thing. It won't work. I have errors since I haven't added alarm to the permission. I need to request permission to access the alarm API. In addition, I need to declare the background script. So I need to add additional field called background. This is an object as well, which specifies the script I'm using as the background script of the extension. In our case, it is the same. It has the same name, so let's call background.js. In addition, I need to add permissions to request permission to the alarm API I'm using, and also to the notification. So we are all set and good to go. Let's clear the errors, go back, refresh it. We can see here a link to the background script, meaning that now all should be okay. And when we click on the icon and set a reminder, we can see that the badge is set to on, which indicates that the status of the extension is on. And in the next minute, we should be able to see a notification to remind us to stand, relax, do some stretching, yoga, meditation, whatever we want to do. By the way, if we wanted to add an extension that is active only on specific page, instead of using browser action, we should have used page action. You can read more about it in the documentation of Chrome extensions. In addition, we can see here that the icon of the extension is just a default one. We don't have a nice icon. So in the next step, we will change this icon to be a nicer one. Let's just wait for the notification to pop up. Hopefully everything will work and we will be able to see it. So here is the notification. Let's show the notification and we can see here a stretch reminder. It is time to take a break and relax. And the notification appears until I click on close. So for the final step, let's just add a nice icon. In order to do that, we need to go back to the manifest and add a field called icons. This is an object which receives several icon size. We must provide this icon size. Let's use code.png. And there are also 16 by pixel. We can also provide 16 by 16 pixel icon and 48 by 48. The 16 by 16 will be used in as the fav icon. The 48 by 48 will be used in the Manage Extensions page. And this one will be used in the web Chrome extension store. But if we don't provide a 16 by 16 and the 48 by 48 icons, don't worry. Chrome will take this one and resize it to fit the necessary size. So let's go over here, refresh it, and we can see a nicer icon, which is really nice that we can select our own. So that's about it. I hope you learned something new and that most important, I hope that you will take time, especially in those days, to relax, stretch, find something that recharges you, gives you back the energy. If you want to see the code, it's available on GitHub. You can scan this QR. Thank you very much for joining the session, and I wish you a happy Women's Day. Thank you, and goodbye.